Welcome, friends, to another evening of UN Pathways Entertainment. My name is Jason Scorza. I'm Associate Provost for Global Learning here at Fairleigh Dickinson University. I'm pleased to see such a large crowd here today for our program on Venezuela and its region. I apologize for the delay in getting started today. The ambassador was unavoidably detained by traffic, but we are all here now and ready to proceed. The way our program works is we will begin with a conversation between Ambassador Ahmad Kamal, our moderator, and His Excellency Ambassador Escalona of Venezuela. Their conversation will be aided by the expert interpreting skills of Second Secretary of the Venezuelan Consulate, Victor Ovales. After their conversation, there'll be a portion of the program for questions and answers and discussion. At that point, two gentlemen will proceed down the aisle with microphones. And if you would signal your desire to ask a question by waving and gesturing in my direction, I'll be happy to call on you. And I'll ask you to speak into the microphone so that the sound will be picked up by a recording system. I should say that tonight's event will be recorded and videotaped. So please, as a courtesy, if you would silence your electronic devices, we would greatly appreciate it. I'd like to thank, before we move on, the Global Learning staff, including Caitlin Taylor, Jackie Human, Colby Thompson, and Kyle Morgan for their help in putting on this program. I'd also like to thank Joanne Murphy, who heads our UN Pathways program, for her assistance and support. And most of all, I would like to thank our moderator, Ambassador Ahmad Kamal. He is a great friend to Fairleigh Dickinson University, as well as a great man of intellect and affairs. For those of you who do not know him, he served for nearly 40 years as a member of the Pakistani Foreign Service in positions including a permanent representative of Pakistan to the UN. He has also served within the UN as Vice President of the General Assembly, President of the Economic and Social Council, Chairman of the Consultations of the Role on NGOs at the United Nations, Chairman of the Working Group on Informatics, Chairman of the Board of Trustees of the United Nations Institute of Training and Research, and I could go on at some length in describing Ambassador Kamal's rich experience. He is also, I should hasten to add, a member of the Fairleigh Dickinson University faculty in the School of Administrative Science, as well as a member of the Fairleigh Dickinson University Board of Trustees. It is my great honor and privilege to present Ambassador Kamal, who will introduce you further to our guest.
Ambassador Escalona, I don't know how to refer to you. Ambassador Escalona, Professor Escalona, Author Escalona, Expert in Economics Escalona, Expert in Environment Escalona, or Friend Escalona, or Hermano Escalona. But in either case, welcome to Fairleigh Dickinson University, and thank you for coming along with Mr. Ovales to grace this audience with your presence.
Muchísimas gracias.
Thanks, really.
Muy buenas noches a todos.
Good night to everybody.
Lo mejor es mi amigo y mi hermano.
The better is my friend and my brother.
Luego, uno sabe cuando está en una universidad.
After, you know, when you are at a university,
Que generalmente en todas las universidades del mundo, ¿no?
because generally in all universities around the world,
se respira, ¿no? Este ambiente de interés, de preocupación y de saber.
you can breathe this environment of interest, to know and to learn.
Entonces, cuando entré aquí dije, no hay duda, ¿no? Estoy en una universidad.
So then when I get here, I said, I had no doubt, I am at a university.
Muchas gracias.
Thanks, really.
Yes, but you say that I am your friend and your brother, but friends and brothers can be very difficult also. So let's start by asking you some difficult questions. Let's start with oil, because all that we know about Venezuela is that it has a lot of oil, and that 95% of the country's income comes from oil. But the prices of oil are collapsing. They've gone down from $140, $147 to $67 a barrel. What effect does that have on the economy of Venezuela?
Ciertamente los hermanos y los amigos son diferentes, ¿no?
Surely the brothers and the friends are different,
Y todos somos diferentes,
and we are all different,
por fortuna, ¿no?
happily or luckily.
Ciertamente Venezuela en su historia contemporánea ha dependido y depende del petróleo.
Certainly, Venezuela, in its contemporary story, has depended and depends from oil.
Y los precios del petróleo históricamente se han caracterizado porque suben y bajan.
And historically, oil prices has been characterized because they go up and they go down also.
Son ciclos y ustedes lo saben, ¿no?
Those are cycles, and you know it very well.
Entonces Venezuela tiene ya algún entrenamiento para manejarse con esos ciclos, que sabemos que después de un alza de precios siempre viene una baja de precios.
So then Venezuela has a little training on knowing how to manage those cycles. When we, after a high price, we have then a low price.
Por ejemplo, el presupuesto público no fue calculado a los más altos precios del petróleo.
For example, a national budget hasn't been calculated on a higher prices of oil.
A un precio promedio que está aproximadamente a lo que es el precio del petróleo hoy día. Es decir, el presupuesto público es manejable con estos precios, porque así fue calculado.
So the national budget was planned under the oil prices that we have actually today. So that's why that national budget is manageable for Venezuela, because it was made on the understanding that oil prices could go down. Yeah.
Luego, Venezuela constituyó un fondo para acumular ingresos petroleros destinados a inversiones estratégicas.
After Venezuela made a fund under the purpose of financing development.
Entonces, actualmente ese fondo es una especie de compensación para la baja de los precios del petróleo.
Actually, that fund is a compensation for the lower prices of oil.
Luego, las reservas internacionales de Venezuela siguen siendo muy altas.
In addition to that, the international savings or the savings of currencies that Venezuela has are still very high.
Hay alrededor de cerca de 40.000 millones de dólares de reservas internacionales.
We have near than $40,000 million on those kind of savings.
Esas reservas internacionales estaban antes depositadas en bancos de Estados Unidos.
So those kind of savings were before placed on U.S. banks mainly.
Previendo la actual crisis, esas reservas fueron sacadas de los bancos de Estados Unidos y están hoy día, la mayor parte de ellas, en el Banco de Pagos de Basilea, en Suiza.
But being aware of the possibility of a crisis, those savings were taken out and put it on the Basilea